So then topical back on another video. I'm Strange Wang, and today I am going to be ranking all of Kevin Smith's filmography. Obviously, this is a personal list. I cannot say factually what I think is Kevin Smith's best movie, his worst movie, whatever, because everything's opinion, and these are my opinions. If you want to state yours because you think Strange Wang is wrong, there's a comment section, so get on there and rank your 14 best to worst Kevin Smith movies like I am. But I have a YouTube channel, so watch me and then write yours out later. But let's get into it. Yoga Hoosiers is going to be 14. I absolutely hate this movie. I think it's stupid. It tries to be Clerks at times with a much more ridiculous premise because he just made Tusk and he was on some weird shit. And this film, nothing works for me in this film at all. And it's just Kevin Smith's fever dream come to life that shouldn't have saw the light of day, in my personal opinion. Tusk is another Kevin Smith fever dream that I don't think should have been made. Just because you have a nightmare, Kevin, doesn't mean you should wake up, write a script about it, and make a movie. Dogma's going to be my number 12. And I get the point of this movie. And it's funny at times. But in Kevin Smith's world, and when he makes movies from the smallest characters to the biggest main actors we see on screen for most of the runtime, I'm usually very invested or interested in everyone in that movie. Unlike Dogma, where I'm just watching something and I'm laughing here and there. I don't care about them getting into heaven. I don't care about them stopping them and sending them back to hell. I just really don't care. It's got a great cast and some really good scenes and some good lines. But overall, I'd probably never need to see Dogma again. Mallrats, again, it's a very funny movie. And I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's very low, and I know that's probably very controversial. And this is probably top 5 for most people. But for me, it's a ripoff of Clerks. And maybe it's because of my age, but the mall was just something there. It wasn't something that you went to every day. It's not something you had to plan to go to. It's just a place. I'm just a sucker for romantic comedies. Is it great? No. But to me, this is entertaining subject matter. So, I really like it. If I didn't mention before, the controversy continues. Next, we have Cop Out. I love Cop Out. It's a guilty pleasure movie. I know Kevin Smith hates Bruce Willis, and he probably hates that it's high on my list. But I love shitty action movies. This is a shitty, weird action movie. Tracy Morgan, fucking hilarious. The plot of this movie is we're going to need to get this bad guy so I can get my fucking baseball card back. And he's like obsessed with baseball. It's those weird quirks that we got from older movies in the 80s and 90s, which is why I love and have an attachment to those. And probably why I have a love and an attachment to Cop Out. Because I've seen this movie a bunch. Like, between 5 to 10 times. And for movies, that's a lot. There's a lot of fucking movies out there. And this is one I just keep going back to over the years because it's a fun, guilty pleasure movie, and I love it. Number 8 is Clerks 2. I've worked in a restaurant, and I was really happy to get a hold of this because, hey, waiting. It's a little raunchy, but it's very authentic. But Kevin Smith, put in Kevin Smith's hands, the guy who made Clerks, it's going to be even better. And it is not. The relatability is not really there for me personally. It's good. It's funny. I enjoy it a lot. Minus the last two, I don't think any of these are terrible movies. Or if I do think they're terrible movies, I really enjoy them because they're terrible movies. So, Clerks 2, it doesn't have that relatability factor of being an employee at a fucking restaurant or a fast food restaurant. So it doesn't have that going for me, but it's fucking hilarious. And it's Clerks light. And I love Clerks, as you will see later on in my list. Zack and Mary Make a Porno is going to be next. This film is fucking great. Again, I'm a sucker for romantic comedies, and I love the fact that two people are making a porno together. And it's great. What isn't great is I hate Seth Rogen, and I don't like Star Wars. Star Wars is the most overrated thing in the world, and yes, that's a Han Solo piggy bank, but I do this YouTube channel with Nate, and Nate loves Star Wars, and I just can't have the wall to myself. So some of his stuff and his favorite movies are also on the wall, so don't give me shit. Actually, move Batman. Alright, fuck Star Wars. So if you take everything I don't like in this film, it would probably be a much better movie. Make a Rocky porno. That's what they should have did. This would have been my favorite movie of all time if they put a Rocky porno in it. But they did not, and they didn't recast Seth Rogen. So, because those two things that I despise are in this movie, I couldn't put it too high. But it is a very hilarious movie, and a film that, with a few different decisions, I probably would love a lot more. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's hilarious, it's outlandish, it's wild, it's what you want from Jay and Silent Bob, and from the movie business in general. If you love movies, you're going to like this movie. It's got a lot of jokes about the industry in it, and because of that, it's just a good fucking time. Applesauce, bitch. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Kevin Smith knows a lot about Comic-Con. You write about what you know. So because of that, you have a lot of very good jokes in this film. You have a very good insight of Comic-Con, and you have a respectful way to make fun of it. So because of that, I thought every joke fucking hit in this movie. I was very surprised when I watched it, because it's like, Kevin Smith just made two really shitty movies. So he's going back to Jay and Silent Bob to try to make some of his money back, I guess. Try to get some of that shine back on his name. And no, he made a movie because he really enjoyed the subject matter, and it fucking was great. So because of Kevin Smith writing what he knows, I absolutely love this movie because I think it's one of his funniest movies to date. Red State's going to be my number 4. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, and this just shows he has range. Does it work all the time? Like with Tusk and Yoga Hoosiers? No. But he can make a serious movie. He can do it, surprisingly. And this is it. It's a very good fucking movie. It doesn't even feel like a Kevin Smith movie. It's wild. It's weird. It's kind of brutally honest. And I was shocked when I watched it, knowing Kevin Smith made it. And I think that just shows how good of a director he is. That he can, if he really cares about something, he can be a chameleon and just put himself into this world and make it come alive in a authentic way that he wants it to be, without having himself fully into the script. So because of that, I was a big fan of this movie, and it's just a really good movie in general. It got a lot of twists and turns in it, and because of that, it keeps you on your toes like a ballerina, and things stay interesting. And like I said, his movies all have interesting characters, and what they go through is very interesting. And this film, without comedy, is very fucking interesting. And yes, I love Kevin Smith comedies, because I like Kevin Smith. But this one shows that he is talented enough to not rely on that. The newest film, the reason why I'm making this list, finally watched Clerks 3. Clerks 3 is here. It's out now. I bought it on Steelbook. It's a very beautiful Steelbook, but Clerks 3 is the perfect example of a nostalgia trip. Also, he's writing what he knows about, and because he is writing about what he knows, it's very funny. It's heartfelt. The emotions are there. Easily the most emotional Kevin Smith movie to date. And again, he's doing something else. He's showing that he can dabble in this territory of emotions that make you feel. And That's what you have with this movie. You have an experience. You laugh because, oh man, I love Clerks so much. You cry because of these characters you've seen for since 1994, where they're at now and things going on in their life. And because he can tap in on that, I thought it was a incredible balance of what makes movies great. These two are going to be very controversial. Remember, it is my list. These are my favorites. And Clerks is going to be my number 2. I recently rewatched Clerks, Clerks 2, to watch Clerks 3. I had a little movie marathon on an off day, and it's really fucking good. It doesn't hold up as well as it did when I watched it in 2012, but it's really fucking good. The sound effects, when like you push someone off, they make a weird sound effect. It's not very good. Obviously, watching movies now, actors who aren't actors acting in a movie kind of stand out, and it's kind of like a sore thumb. Some people will find it charming, and when I watched it in 2012 and beyond, I probably thought it was charming or just weird or quirky enough, and I enjoyed it. But as I've grown and my film taste has grown, this film just hasn't been that movie that I loved so much back in the day. And that's okay, because I do still love it and I appreciate it. And without that movie, I wouldn't like some of the movies I like now. And it's still really funny, and for the most part, it does hold up. The things they talk about holds up. I love this movie from the get-go just because I worked in a restaurant, like I said, and we were clerks in the fucking restaurant. We had these conversations about movies. We had these weird sexual questions pop up. There was always relationship drama going on. We played catch on the roof. We was in the back of the storage room throwing lemons and playing broom baseball with fucking lemons. We made a grappling hook one day and broke some shit. We did a bunch of goofy ass shit that we weren't supposed to do on the job and got paid for it, just like Dante and Randall. Dante and Randall. We were them. So a lot of heart, a lot of relatability with Clerks, but people grow, and that's okay, because you see that in Clerks 3. Kevin Smith's not the same Kevin Smith, and it's good to get that insight and see him growing along with you growing. That's what makes us human. It happens, and I can still look back on this and love it and relate to it, and I'm glad I had this in my life to love and relate to. But my number 1 is Chasing Amy. Again, I'm a sucker for romance. I'm a sucker for romantic comedies, and this is one of my favorite ones because it's not by the book. It's different. It's unique. It's not something you're going to have happen to you, especially in this time period, in the 90s. You're not going to get this. You might get this in a movie now. It's a little independent movie from A24 or something. You may get a really shitty comedy version of it on a streaming service, or like a Universal would make it, but you're not going to get something as authentic, funny, real as Chasing Amy. And because of that, I love it. It stands out. It's unique. It's something that I would hear from a friend, be like, oh man, sucking so-and-so, she's a lesbian. Holy shit. Like, this is a conversation you would have with someone you know and would get passed down. Strange Wang knows a lot of strange people. I've heard weird ass shit like the Chasing Amy story happened to friends. People are humans, they have emotions, and they react certain ways, and I think Kevin Smith puts that in the script and makes it interesting to the point that it fucking breaks through the level of interest and explodes out the top. Everyone in this movie is interesting. You can see everyone's side because these characters are so fleshed out, and while you have this interesting story, you're going to have laughter throughout this movie because Kevin Smith's just a funny dude. But that is my ranking of Kevin Smith's filmography. Let me know in the comment section, as I said, what did I get wrong? What did I get right? And fun question, where do you put Kevin Smith and American directors? interesting character. He's a lot of people love him. Got a cult following for sure. Where's he land? Where does he rank? I want to know. Is he top 10, top 5, top 50? I don't know. He's a household name, but let me know that in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a